Welcome back. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Tuesday, September 16th. It is 7:01 on the East Coast. Coming up this hour at 7:10, our Word on Wall Street panel is here with Gina Bolvin and Gregory Farinello looking at major highs in stocks. At 7:20, Senator Bill Hagerty will join us on Memphis, Tennessee. And at 7:30, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is here on the China Talks. But first, there's this. Americans are finding themselves fired and out of work for their social media posts celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. At least a dozen faculty and staff from schools facing swift termination, including 2 at a Tennessee university. One faculty member allegedly wrote, "You reap what you sow," while another wrote, "This is not a tragedy, it's a victory." Sick. Clemson University says 2 professors have been removed from their teaching duties pending an investigation. And officials in Texas say 100 teachers and staffers were terminated for similar comments. Joining me now is South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, thanks very much for being here. This is absolutely outrageous. I know you're urging the Department of Education to cut off federal funding to any schools or faculty that appear to be spewing hate like this and celebrating this assassination. Tell us more.
Well, right. I mean, we should not allow these educators who are celebrating the political assassination of Charlie Kirk and conservatives around the country. They should not be anywhere near our kids or teaching them. The same thing goes for healthcare professionals, doctors, anesthesiologists, nurses. I don't want these people making life or death healthcare decisions for myself, my family, or any of you that are watching you, Maria, this morning. And in fact, late last night, we got tipped off about an alleged employee at a South Carolina college saying that violence is the only answer and saying that I would be the next political assassination. These people need to be publicly shamed. They need to be shamed out of a civil society, out of their jobs when they are around children or making healthcare decisions. Enough is enough. This is the mentality that got Charlie Kirk assassinated. It's why Donald Trump they attempted to kill him twice last year. It's why so many conservatives are getting death threats all day, all night right now, and we're done with it.
Yeah, but I want to know who is supporting this and funding this. I mean, you've got to follow the money. President Trump now wants to see racketeering charges against leftist groups who are agitators. Watch this.
I've asked Pam to look into that in terms of RICO, bringing RICO cases against the criminal RICO, because they should be put in jail. What they're doing to this country is really subversive.
I mean, the president said he's going to look at the Soros network. I know you plan to file a resolution stripping Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of her committee assignments following her disparaging comments about Charlie Kirk. So let me kick it off, this whole look at this with that. Who is funding this radicalization?
Well, I agree with President Donald Trump. The first person we should look at is George Soros. We know that he has sent a lot of money, millions of dollars, funding organizations that want chaos, division, and violence. I mean, when there were the Black Lives Matter riots, if you remember, Maria, there were pallets of bricks that were sent to small towns all across the country to destroy these cities and these towns. So somebody is paying for this. And we know it's coming out of the Democrat the left-wing party in the United States. We know that they are participating in this, but somebody is funding it. And I agree with Trump to start with Soros. And I am filing a privileged motion this morning to censure Ilhan Omar for alleging that Charlie Kirk is a terrorist in her content, and all but blaming him for his assassination, but also strip her of her committee assignments. I believe in the First Amendment. You have the right to say whatever you want, but that has consequences. And she should be admonished, and she should be reprimanded here in Congress. This is the sort of thing that is putting conservatives' lives in danger. I carry my 6-hour P365 now everywhere I go because of the danger and the threats that we're currently facing.
Yeah, I mean,
in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder.
I mean, there's a whole group of Democrats who use the word fascist repeatedly during their campaigning, their political campaigning. And, you know, the suspect had the word fascist etched on his ammunition. So what does that tell you?
Well, you mean, look at Kamala Harris when she was running for president last year. She said live on air multiple times over that Donald Trump was a fascist. And this ideology, they've called us Nazis, they've called us Hitler, they've called us fascists, they've called us terrorists. This is why our lives are in danger. And how do you have unity with a group of people who want to murder you? And, you know, I talked to my pastor on Sunday. I'm struggling with this because these people need to be held accountable. They need to be fired from their jobs. They need to go to jail if they've committed a crime. And, you know, how do you handle that? And so that's the question we're all asking ourselves. And we want to be safe in our communities. But also, if you've done this guy right here, this sounds like he was organized. I know that Kash Patel said that they were talking to many people on Discord. It was definitely premeditated. But this ideology, and he comes from this community because his boyfriend, I guess, is transgender or transitioning. But they come from this community that is advocating for violence. And I've had so many threats. And in fact, at my first Turning Point USA event earlier this year, there was a transgender person who tried to pick up a potted plant, a fern, and throw it at me. But this is a community that just because I say as a rape survivor, as a rape victim, I don't want a biological man in the shower next to me or the bathroom, they want to kill me because of my beliefs as a woman and as a rape survivor. So we're not dealing with sane people here, and they need to be dealt with boldly, strongly. And I support everything Trump is saying and wanting to do. That's why I'm filing this censorship and this motion to strip Ilhan Omar of her committee assignments. That's why I'm working to root out the teachers and healthcare workers in South Carolina who celebrate murder. I don't want them around our kids. Hard pass.
I've never seen the kind of hate that was so apparent during the last election season. I've never seen the kind of hate that was exhibited against Donald Trump and his supporters than what we've seen in the last 10 years.